Hi, you are watching a GW Micro informational program. I'm your host, Tony Kayumi, and today I'm here with Patty. Patty is a college student. She's the user of low vision products, Braille and Window Eye software, also portable SenseView, which is what we're talking about today. Patty, can you tell me how it helps to make you more productive by using that product?
Oh my gosh, yeah, I use it every day in class. In fact, yesterday I just took a tree test where I had to go out into the woods that we have at the university and identify trees, and I used it on the leaves to see, the veins and different things. I also use it for like to read prescription bottles and stuff because I'm on several medicines, and there's just about anything you can do with it. Like I said, I don't think there's a day it doesn't get used.
When you're using the 4 different brightness levels, how does that help you accomplish a variety of tasks?
If I'm in a room that's kind of dark, I'll probably use like the lowest one, something more bright, and then it just kind of depends on the lighting, but it also depends on what you're looking at. If you're looking at something that has a lot of glare, it's easier to use one of the settings that's a little bit darker. Like I know, especially when I use like my debit card or something, if I have to read the numbers off of it, it's easier to use something that isn't as bright because then the numbers don't bounce back at you. But the different levels definitely help.
Now, you mentioned being out in the woods and looking at leaves. Obviously, that was an outside trip. What else, when you travel, can you use this for?
Oh my gosh, I've used it to sometimes look at different signs, like on the door of of different offices and things. I've used it for the phone book. Definitely menus, going out to dinner and things with friends. They even take it and use it just because they think it's cool. Definitely out at the bank, and especially at restaurants. It's my favorite place to use it.
What's your thought on the LCD display?
That is probably the greatest thing ever. It's really easy to read, and I like the fact that it does go as bright as it does, because a lot of times that's my problem, is that the lighting some places isn't bright enough. So even if I don't need it to be magnified, I'll even just use it, of course it's going to magnify, but I'll use it just because it brightens things up and makes them easier to read, even if they are written bigger.
Now, it has a great extended battery life. How do you find that to be helpful?
I use it a lot of times. That's helpful because if I'm reading a book, I'm obviously most of the time not going to be reading for just 5 minutes. I may be reading for an hour, hour and a half. And having that longer battery life helps so that I don't have to stop what I'm doing and plug it in and then wait for it to charge and then unplug it and use it again. I can just keep going.
Now, we mentioned the different brightness levels. There's also 6 different color modes. How do you use that?
I normally just use the standard everyday color one that doesn't have any effect, but I also have found that the black and white, it's a black screen and then the writing is white, really helps, especially when I'm starting to do homework and read and things. When I'm reading for longer periods, I usually switch it to that. It's easier on the eyes, at least for me anyway, and I feel that it doesn't cause as much strain as it would if I just left it on the normal setting.
In what ways do you use the image capture feature?
I've used that. In fact, I talked with Dan the other day about it. I've used it in the store. If things are higher up, I'll take a picture of the price tag, then that way I can tell how much something is or what color something is if it's really high up. That's really the only place I've had to actually use it, is there.
Now, you use the portable SenseView, but with the Duo, you can store up to 20 images. How would you find that useful?
PowerPoints, if a professor's writing something, or if I wanted to remember part of a book, like if I was writing something and I needed just a quote, I could just take a picture of it, have it there, and go back and refer to it and write it up.
In regard to the zoom feature, in what ways do you use that?
Oh, the zoom feature's awesome. It's probably one of my favorites. I like, especially like I said earlier, with print being different sizes, it's really nice to be able to enlarge the print or make it smaller depending on what you're looking at. And if you're looking at really small objects like the leaves and stuff on the trees that I was looking at the other day, some of them I had to be able to tell, are the edges rough or are the edges smooth? And of course you can feel that, but then looking at the veins and things in them, it was really nice to be able to zoom in really close and actually see how they were shaped to be able to identify the tree.
And your learning curve when you first got the product?
Oh man, I started off at GW Micro. I got my Braille Sense and the SenseView at the same time, and I had training on both of them, but it seems like, I learned how to use it there, but then actually taking it out in the world, because you can only learn so much when you're in training. They can only give you a book and tell you to read it, but a lot of it I found just going out and experimenting. Does this help, me read the price tags on a shelf or whatever? A lot of it is kind of left up to you as the user as to what you choose to use it for.
Thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
If you would like to learn more about GW Micro products, it's very easy. Just go to gwmicro.com.